Gargoyle collapse. On her first day at Nevermore Academy, chaos finds Wednesday before she's even unpacked. As she steps into the courtyard, the atmosphere turns eerie. The sky darkens, crows scatter, and a stone gargoyle perched high above the entrance suddenly shifts. What looks like coincidence is anything but. Moments later, the heavy statue is yanked from its base and sent plummeting toward her. The timing is perfect, too perfect, and her death would have been instant. In a flash, Xavier Thorpe dives forward, shoving her aside just as the gargoyle smashes into the ground. Students scream, dust fills the air, and Wednesday, unfazed but visibly shaken, realizes someone just tried to kill her. It isn't random vandalism. The rope marks on the gargoyle reveal it was deliberately cut. This moment not only sets the tone for the danger ahead, but also exposes that Wednesday's arrival at Nevermore has already triggered something, or someone, intent on removing her. The event sparks her first real investigation, and Xavier's quick reflexes quietly plant him in her circle of suspicion and reluctant trust. Rowan's carnival attack. During the town's harvest festival, Wednesday senses something off about Rowan Laszlo, a student with telekinetic powers and a reputation for instability. He corners her in a secluded part of the carnival, clutching an ancient prophecy page that depicts her destroying Nevermore Academy. Convinced it's his duty to prevent that future, he attacks with terrifying precision, hurling her against walls and pinning her in midair with his telekinesis. Helpless and gasping, Wednesday watches as Rowan raises his hand to strike the killing blow. But before the attack lands, the woods erupt with monstrous roars. Out of the shadows charges a Hyde, Tyler Galpin's secret alter ego, who grabs Rowan and brutally kills him right in front of Wednesday. Ironically, the creature saves her life by eliminating the person who was seconds away from ending it. When Wednesday regains her bearings, the Hyde vanishes, leaving her in stunned silence among the torn carnival tents and shattered lights. What makes this moment chilling is that Rowan's prophecy wasn't entirely wrong, and the being that saved her wasn't a savior at all, but a monster unknowingly tied to her fate. Gargoyle Revenge Trap Vision. After surviving 2 assassination attempts in her first week, Wednesday begins experiencing violent psychic visions connected to Rowan's death. During one of these visions inside the Nevermore courtyard, she's suddenly pulled into a vivid, suffocating sequence, reliving the moment the gargoyle nearly crushed her, but this time from another perspective. In the hallucination, she sees herself frozen in place while unseen hands manipulate the ropes above, cutting them with surgical precision. The sensation becomes overwhelming as the scene loops over and over. For nearly a minute, she's unresponsive. When she awakens, she's pale and shaken, but refuses medical help, insisting the vision revealed a clue about her would-be killer. This near-death trance marks a turning point. Her powers aren't just a gift, but a physical threat to her survival. From this point on, each vision becomes riskier, leaving her weaker and more drained, as if the supernatural world itself is punishing her every time she looks too deeply into it. The Raven Dance Chaos. Nevermore's Raven Dance is pure Gothic spectacle, glittering lights, pounding music, and outcast flair. Wednesday shows up in her stunning black gown, reluctantly trading her detective hat for one night of normalcy. For a moment, everything feels almost human, until chaos strikes. Local pranksters rig the sprinklers with red paint, flooding the ballroom in a blood-red storm. Students scream and scatter, but Wednesday stands calm, drenched, and unbothered. Then a psychic vision hits. Eugene is in danger at the beehives. Without hesitation, she bolts from the dance, sprinting through the crimson rain. The Raven doesn't nearly kill her. It awakens her purpose. Crackstone Resurrection Stabbing. When Joseph Crackstone rises from the grave, the centuries-old Puritan zealot brings death with him, literally. Armed with a cursed dagger forged to purify outcasts, he storms Nevermore's courtyard intent on erasing the school and everyone in it. Wednesday confronts him head-on, fearless but clearly outmatched. Crackstone moves faster than expected, driving his dagger straight through her chest. The sound of steel meeting flesh silences the chaos around them. She collapses, her pale skin draining of color, eyes fluttering as blood seeps through her uniform. For a moment, she's dead. But death doesn't hold her. From beyond the veil, Goody Addams appears, her ancestral spirit and psychic twin. Channeling the last of her ethereal energy, Goody transfers her essence into Wednesday's dying body, healing the wound from within. When Wednesday awakens, she's gasping, alive, and glowing faintly with ancestral power. The dagger lies beside her, its curse broken. She doesn't celebrate, she simply stands, grabs her sword, and finishes the job, burning Crackstone to ash. This sequence marks the clearest instance of her literal death and resurrection, proving that her Addams bloodline carries more than just morbidity. It carries protection powerful enough to defy mortality itself. Crow vision collapse. Not long after returning to Nevermore, Wednesday's visions start to intensify, no longer random, but violent and consuming. In the graveyard, while deciphering an omen about Enid's fate, she's suddenly overwhelmed by a psychic surge. Her pupils dilate, and a swarm of spectral crows fills her mind's eye, circling her in a storm of shrieks. The vision is so powerful it overrides her body's normal function. She stiffens, convulses, and breathing stops. Bianca and Enid find her moments later, unresponsive and pale. They try shaking her awake, but her pulse is faint. Inside the vision, Wednesday witnesses Enid's death in horrifying clarity. Blood, fire, and feathers everywhere. When she jolts awake minutes later, gasping for air, she's drenched in sweat and trembling, as though she truly lived through her own death. This episode reveals how dangerous her psychic link has become. The connection between life and vision blurs. Every time she peeks beyond reality, her body risks shutting down entirely. It's no longer just eerie foresight, it's self-destruction. Her powers are feeding off her energy, showing that even knowledge comes at a deadly price. What saves her isn't strength, but sheer defiance against the pull of death. Psychiatric hospital window fall. In Season 2's 4th episode, Wednesday's investigation leads her to the psychiatric hospital, where she suspects patients are being used for Hyde experimentation. When she corners Tyler Galpin, who's been recaptured and sedated for rehabilitation, things spiral out of control. Tyler's suppressed Hyde persona awakens mid-interrogation, eyes glowing and muscles distorting as guards flee in panic. Before Wednesday can react, the creature hurls her through a reinforced window. Glass explodes outward as she plummets 2 stories onto the stone courtyard below. The impact knocks the wind from her lungs and leaves her motionless, limbs twisted, blood pooling beneath her. Security footage later confirms she lay unconscious for nearly a minute before twitching back to life. Doctors diagnose severe trauma and internal bleeding, placing her in a short coma. For once, Wednesday's legendary endurance isn't enough. Modern medicine has to intervene. Body swap ritual gone wrong. During a desperate attempt to uncover the truth behind Isaac Knight's experiments, Wednesday and Enid perform a forbidden ritual at Nevermore's graveyard. The spell, meant to let them view events through each other's eyes, spirals out of control when the lunar alignment intensifies its power, and in an instant, both girls collapse, souls violently yanked from their own bodies. When they awaken, Wednesday finds herself trapped in Enid's werewolf body, and Enid panics inside Wednesday's. What starts as confusion quickly turns deadly. They learn that if they fail to reverse the swap by the next full moon, their souls will disintegrate, leaving their bodies as empty vessels. Wednesday's analytical calm begins to crack. For the first time, she's facing a death she can't outwit or fight: spiritual erasure. As their condition worsens, Enid's instincts begin to overpower Wednesday's mind, causing violent transformation surges, while Wednesday's darker thoughts infect Enid's human body. Together, they barely reforge the spell before the final seal collapses. When the energy snaps, both collapse again, heartbeats fading, then jolt awake, gasping. For Wednesday, this wasn't survival. It was resurrection through friendship. Buried Alive by Isaac Knight. In the Season 2 finale, Wednesday's obsession with uncovering Isaac Knight's true motives leads her straight into his trap. As she regains consciousness, the horror becomes clear. She's buried alive, restrained, and gasping for air as dirt trickles in through the seams. Covered in soil, coughing, and barely conscious, Wednesday mutters, "I suppose this counts as a burial rehearsal." The moment cements her mortality more than any vision or wound before. It's the one time death wasn't metaphorical, and survival was purely luck and loyalty. Nevermore in Flames. Crackstone's Revenge. The most terrifying moment at Nevermore Academy comes during the Season 1 finale, when the resurrected Joseph Crackstone unleashes his wrath. Crackstone, having returned from the grave, plans to burn Nevermore to the ground and destroy every outcast within its walls. Wednesday finds herself at the center of the chaos. Mortally wounded by Crackstone's enchanted blade, she teeters on the edge of death. Flames erupt as Crackstone conjures supernatural fire, the school consumed by his vengeance. But Wednesday's sheer determination and the intervention of her ancestor Goody Addams rescue her at the last possible moment. Revived and empowered, she single-handedly confronts Crackstone in a dramatic showdown. Using wits, courage, and a little help from her friends, Wednesday defeats Crackstone, saving Nevermore from certain destruction. The devastation she witnessed wasn't just a vision. It was a near apocalypse she survived thanks to her unique heritage and strength. This climactic battle proves Wednesday doesn't just face danger in her dreams, sometimes the peril is all too real, and her actions decide the fate of everyone at Nevermore. And if you've made it this far without fainting like one of Nevermore's normies, go ahead and hit subscribe and like, because surviving this much Gothic chaos definitely deserves a round of applause.